just for a moment? As a kind of maybe public service or whatever.
I think I've done enough public service in that direction. However, if it helps anybody, yes.
Well, it might very well. I guess what I want to know is how do you know when you're in trouble?
I think that nobody quite knows which drink it is that takes him over the edge of being merely a social or hearty laughing drinker into a morose and hungover wretched creature who shakes and creaks and sweats and has nightmares, and it's always November and it's raining and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and there's nowhere to go, and you reach out for a cigarette and smoke and think of all the horrible things you've done in your life, and all the shames you endured and suffered, and the shame you gave other people, and all the wrongs.
I paid a doctor to examine my head, so I listened to every word that he said. He had a bachelor's degree, a PhD, a beautiful wife, and 3 kids he kept safe in captivity. In the city, where I sat in a chair, I was in love, but totally unprepared. Sweat stuck to my skin as my upper lip bled, and I spit out the truth that I tried to forget, and his conclusion came out to be a prescription for antipsychotics for ADHD and depression. A number for me to reach if I had a symptom, like vomiting, low appetites, or seizures, or impotency. Wait, what? Impotency? Thank you, but no thanks. I prefer the problems in my brain and losing the feelings in my legs. Frankly, sir, I like to fuck. Yeah, frankly, sir, I like to fuck. But he said that you are what I like to call crazy, with a tendency towards drug abuse and depression. So take this lesson now as you self-medicate away. You lose yourself, your face will change, just count the days. That's all that I can say. Wait a minute, are you serious? Did you go to school for that? How did you figure me out? Like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Because the last time I checked, I already knew it's the whole fucking reason I'm talking to you. So don't pass this up, don't bite me off yet. I'm not dumb, just confused and a little misled, you motherfucking cock shit cunt rat. I'm sorry you saw that. Times my emotions get the best of me. The lack thereof burns like the 3rd degree, and I can't sleep without somebody there or something inside of me. So get down from your high horse and I'll get down from mine, and then I'll try. I swear next time I won't come back high, but then I get a little taste of something sweet. I can't erase the memories or feelings that I can't fake. I paid a doctor to get rid of your ghost, but I can see you staring back at me from the window. Took all my pills, drank all my beer, smoked all my pot, but you're still here. You're still here. And I just don't know what to do, 'cause I think that I may still love you. I always wanted to be a superhero, to have superpowers. Something that might explain why I was the way I was, why I am the way I am. If I was a superhero and I had superpowers, that would mean I'm special And that might explain these words that I've heard all my life. Quirky, rambunctious, weirdo, neurotic, selfish, faggot. Remember, I grew up in the 90s. I always wanted to move things with my mind. Ever since I was little, I wanted to subtly play God with strangers, to impress chicks and to right wrongs. If only I could move Alexander with my mind. You're lying to me, you're a liar. I always wanted to see a miracle, something miraculous, something that has never ever happened before and that will never ever happen again. A totally unique event in the universe. And it doesn't have to serve any purpose. I'm not picky. I know magic doesn't exist, and I find that unacceptable. Life is too long and too disappointing not to at least look for magic, but it's like I'm staring too closely at a painting, and I'm in a museum full of art, and I'm stuck on the corner of a white edge of a plain white canvas, and I'm trying to make meaning out of only a fragment of a sentence. I know what you're thinking. I was never diagnosed with ADHD, but I've done enough cocaine to exacerbate those tendencies. I always wanted to be a superhero, and I got alcoholism. Yay! Careful what you wish for, kids. So, I can't move things with my mind. I do, however, get drunk, move things, wake up, and have no idea how I feel. Today, magic! Truthfully, I don't know if there was one event or one drink that made me an alcoholic. Like, I wish that was the case. I mean, it means that at one point, I had a chance. I wish I could put together the fractured memories of my life and figure out where it all went wrong. Was it when my car knocked out the power in a small town? Or was it when Katrina said to me, I love you, I do, and I never want to see you again? Was it when my apartment in New York City flooded? Or when our family dog Wesley died? Was it when I would look at the mushroom cloud on top of my head in the mirror, and I would say to him, I would say to myself, I would say, you're ugly, and that's okay. I'd say, you're ugly, and that's okay. Was it the day before December 1st, 1987, when my mom was watching The Secret Garden with my grandpa Lester, and she said to him, I think we have to go to the hospital. Or before that, when people would ask my dad, what's that twinkle in your eye? He'd say, that's my son Teddy, and I can't wait to meet him. Or so I've been told. The lesson here is don't peak too early. I really shined before I was conceived. My grandpa Lester died last year of Alzheimer's. That's what this says. I think it's the one tattoo my mom didn't totally roll her eyes at. He was 93. Old age and Alzheimer's. Not too shabby, but I bring this up because most people with this awful condition, unlike them, he was a peach. Up until the end, he was excited to be wherever he was, even if he wasn't entirely sure where he was. His response to everything was, oh boy. You tell him it's time to get up, oh boy. Tell him it's time to eat, oh boy. And after the fourth time he's told you about how he fixed the stairs in the house that he built, or how he put pieces of wood together and make it a desk, you tell him it's time for bed and he'd be like, oh boy. Oh boy. I bring this up because I, like him, have lost days and weeks, maybe months, to total blackness. But I, unlike him, chose that. I sort of chose that. I loathe that. When you strip him down to his core, to his ability to swallow, he was a good person. When you strip me down to my core, down to my ability to swallow, I'm not.
on this deserted road?
Some guys from school drove out here and we're gonna start fooling around with drugs. When I told them all drugs do is mess up your head and get you in a lot of trouble, they kicked me out of the van and drove off.
You're right not to get involved in the drug scene. Nobody with any sense wants any part of it.
How do I get home?
That's no problem at all.
I got the shakes during the Shakespeare scene. The poetry's not lost on me. Second year, second semester. I woke up that morning with an empty bottle stuck between the bed and my wall. I didn't plan on relapsing. I rarely do, I guess. But the thing is I don't really even remember drinking. Like, have you ever had so many days in a row that are so similar it's hard to tell them apart? Like, think about your commute to work last week. Can you tell the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday? I know I drank because of what happened next. My scene partner, Tyler Herman, could see something was wrong before even I could. I was suffering from the DTs, delirium tremens. Not tremors, as I thought, but tremens. I think it's named after someone or something. But essentially, your brain has a response from passing out more than getting proper sleep. And I fell into REM sleep while I was wide awake. I was dreaming. I was hallucinating, really. I couldn't tell what was real. I couldn't tell I was alive. Long story short, I had a very public mental breakdown. Like a room of actors watching a stray cat in a bear trap. Thing is, I'm not the cat in this metaphor. I'm the asshole who left the bear trap out. No matter what I did, the words just stuck on my tongue, stubborn and useless. They wouldn't come out. Macbeth, Act 4, Scene 3. It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow. In the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms. I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there is no bottom, none to my voluptuousness. The king becoming graces, his justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each crime, acting in several ways. Nay, had I power, I would pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. As most of you know, that's not exactly how it went. Sorry, Annie. Can I get like a late grade? We'll talk. You know, the thing is, I don't know if it was that day, or the next day, or whatever, but one day I woke up, I opened my eyes, and the realization dawned on me that I was the villain in my own story. That's a serious gut punch, especially for someone like me. I mean, this is the thing, this is my life. It's not a game. I only get this once. An addiction isn't something that I get to beat. I see that now. I don't know if I can accept that. But in my experience, that's not nearly as hard as trying to accept that sometimes when you really, really love somebody, the best thing you can do for them is just to let them go. In my experience, sometimes saying goodbye is more important than saying I love you. If my memory serves correctly, your lips, I bet, still burn just as hot as a lit cigarette. Blisters whisper, you still miss her, still can't kiss her. They say, I bet we won't let you forget every spot that you kissed on your neck. It serves me right for playing with fire. It serves me right for playing with fire. 'Cause now I've been burned, and I can't help but place my palm onto the coals and play along and say that feels fine. Doesn't even hurt. The life you lead in a body that won't give up and a brain that doesn't want you to survive. I know, I'm sorry. I know, it's me. Your constellation eyes will never lock on mine. Your stars, I bet they're light years away, and that's called heaven sent. The sky lies to me, you're not actually shining. Your eyes, I bet they show in the sky long after you are dead. It serves me right for playing with fire and for reaching up so high. It serves me right for playing with fire. 'Cause now I've been burned. I flew too close to the sun on my way up to you, and my wings may have caught the sky on fire. It doesn't even hurt. The life you lead in a body that is honest, but a brain that's such a goddamn liar. I know it's me, it hurts, I'm sorry. I think I know I'll go. I know, I'm sorry. I could talk about the worst of my drinking, the 80 or so relapses, the numerous hospital visits, but you've heard enough of that. You know, that realization that the battle doesn't end until I end, it's exhausting. The voice on the loudspeaker isn't a dictator, but an old friend. Addiction doesn't sound like Hitler rants. It sounds like Sunday morning pancakes. Pajamas that hold your toes like warm cotton trash bags. Like unsettled leaves embracing gravity. Like a record left out in the sun for far too long. Running into your ex without any makeup on and a passing taxi trashing your new khakis. Addiction doesn't taste like razor blades, but it feels like sharp edges on the back of my throat. Like every room you walk into, you hear the punchline but miss the joke and you find yourself laughing anyway, just in case, like swallowing cement. I don't care to admit it, but I'm only really in between relapses, like remission. Ask me my sober date and I'll answer, which one? I could build a castle with all the chips I've earned and lost and earned and lost and earned and lost and earned again. Addiction tastes like sex. It's sentimental, and it's sweet, and it sucks. Sometimes, it just fucking sucks. I try to pattern my mouth into the shape of I need help, but I keep forgetting how the syllables fit together. I know the bear is not in the room, but if I just have a sip, he'll leave me alone before my neurons confuse delight with survival. Otherwise, I'm defenseless to the endless run-on sentence running my mind. I can't find or rewind. I might be back where I started, relentless, full throttle to the empty bottom. A bottle, stop! Breathe. Remember that with each new breath, you can start again. Maybe if winning against addiction means dying from something else, maybe winning isn't the point. My uncle told this story at my grandfather's funeral. They were both flying. They were both pilots. My uncle was new, still learning. They flew into Logan airspace. Long story short, he fucked up. He panicked, convinced he was going to lose his license, convinced he was going to get arrested. Long story short, they landed, they were fine. Still panicking, still convinced that he was going to jail, he braced for impact. He braced for Papa's harsh words. And Papa said, I'm not mad that you made a mistake. Mistakes happen. But if you make a mistake, stop, look at the controls. If you can see the problem, fix it. And if you can't, ask for help. It's simple, really. I didn't know what the problem was for so long, and I didn't ask for help. But I'm a slow learner. That's no secret. It took me 4 years to graduate from a 3-year program. But I do learn. You know, September 3rd, 2017 was my last drink, for now. It's 20 months, 626 days. I have to accept that I'm powerless. But I've given up on giving up. Maybe that's a miracle. When you strip me down to my core, down to my ability to swallow, I'm not good or bad, I just exist. And maybe that's enough. The universe experiencing itself. The miracle I've been waiting for. When I think about the future and all the challenges I've yet to face, whenever I'm filled with dread, I stop, I look at the controls, and I think to myself,